Are you serious? Are you serious, everybody? Are you serious? Sorry about that. Wow, we do have some information. We've been waiting. We've been waiting to hear what the uh, the White House's information coming out of this meeting that took place with Jay Sullivan in Saudi Arabia. That is part of a President Joe Biden's Middle East peace deal, which includes a two-state solution, of course. Ultimately, he wants in Israel. Well, let me tell you all about this and what's happening now right after this. But first, let's put a quick shout out for www.healthwithpaul.com. That's www.healthwithpaul.com. One of the secrets reducing the appearance of aging is to consider your collagen levels. And when your collagen levels decline, as they naturally do with age, your skin gradually begins to show those aging signs, like fine lines, wrinkles, and more. That's why I'm going to highly recommend including collagen in your daily regimen. It provides the 5 critically important types of collagen to support skin elasticity and hydration. One easy to take scoop in the soup or in your smoothie a day, every day, is all you need to help reduce the appearance of wrinkles. Try it today. You can save 53% off, plus get several additional free bonuses if you'll go to the link below, www.healthwithpaul.com. That's www.healthwithpaul.com. You'll be glad you did that. Well, whoops. Yeah, that's right. Let me tell you what else is happening here. It's quite extraordinary about this peace deal, okay? About this peace deal. But here's what we're finding out. Jake Sullivan went. Now, I went back and read the White House. I went to the whitehouse.gov to read what the White House originally agreed the plan they were working on, which includes a two-state solution. No doubt about that. But I wanted to find out more. Is that still on the table? It is. Now, here's what I found out. According to Al Jazeera News, the White House advisor Jake Sullivan met with the Saudi Crown Prince there in Saudi Arabia. The White House is telling us this took place yesterday. The focus would be on a more peaceful, secure, and prosperous and stable Middle East. Now, the White House has announced that the United States National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan met with Saudi leaders in Saudi Arabia to discuss the peace efforts in the Middle East. But Thursday's readout made no mention of a possible normalization agreement between Saudi Arabia and Israel, which is a definite U.S. priority in the region. This is why everybody said that he was going, or one of the reasons. But the meeting instead centered on bilateral and regional matters, according to the White House, including initiatives for more peaceful, secure, prosperous, and stable Middle East. Nevertheless, Jake Sullivan's visit coincides with an ongoing effort under U.S. President Joe Biden. The president wants to establish relations between Israel and Saudi Arabia. These are two longtime adversaries. Now, in attendance yesterday in the meeting was the Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman, who has served as really the prime minister since 2022. And due to King Salman's failing health, the Saudi Crown Prince has long been considered the Saudi kingdom's de facto ruler, even prior to his appointment as prime minister. Sullivan previously visited with Mohammed bin Salman back in May as the two discussed greater ties between the Middle East and India. And last month, U.S. Secretary of State Anthony Blinken sat down with Mohammed bin Salman in Saudi Arabia as part of a warming relations again to keep things going with the Saudi Crown Prince. But bin Salman remains a very controversial figure in the United States due to the association with the 2018 killing of journalist Jamal Khashoggi, I'll say it, and other alleged human rights abuses. Now, Biden had previously disavowed the Saudi government on the presidential campaign, citing this assassination. But since then, of course, Mohammed bin Salman said he had nothing to do with it. So he said, we are going to, in fact, make them pay a price, he said, make them, in fact, pariahs, Biden said during a 2019 Democratic debate. But in the years since the president took office, the Democrat leadership has warned to Mohammed bin Salman continuing the U.S. close ties with the Saudi kingdom. So they've warmed up. And Biden himself visited Mohammed bin Salman in Saudi Arabia last year, a move which was denounced by groups like the Human Rights Watch. But Biden's new stance comes at a cost to the moral authority of the United States, according to his Democrat cohorts. It's also a devastating blow for independent Saudi dissidents and deactivists demanding a meaningful say in their country's future. So they went on then to talk about just building a more secure situation. The question about Israel's normalization, the approachment between Iran and Saudi Arabia has stirred hopes among U.S. officials of a similar Saudi Arabian agreement with Israel. Now, for years, the U.S. has encouraged the Arab countries to normalize relationships with Israel, one of its closest allies in the region. Back in 2020, under President Donald Trump, the U.S. scored a huge victory in that pursuit with the Abraham Accords. And though the Accords initially only established relationships between Israel and the United Arab Emirates, it then included also Bahrain, Morocco, and Sudan. Already, the relationships between Israel and Jordan have been in place for over 25 years. So the Biden administration has continued to foster Israel's international ties. In June, Secretary Blinken told the American-Israeli Public Affairs Committee that the U.S. must play an integral role in advancing the Israeli reapproachment with Saudi Arabia. And the United States has real national security interests in promoting normalization between Israel and the Saudi Arabians. So that we know. But we also know that this meeting took place. So I also went to the White House to find out the official readout of the Sullivan visit, okay? And I lost that for a second, so give me 1 second to see what the official readout was. And here's what the official readout from yesterday's meeting. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan traveled to Saudi Arabia yesterday, July 27th, to meet with Prime Minister and Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman and other senior Saudi officials to discuss the bilateral and regional matters, including initiatives to advance a common vision for a more peaceful, secure, prosperous, and stable Middle East, and to interconnect with the world. Jake Sullivan also reviewed significant progress to build on the benefits of the truce in Yemen that had endured over the past 16 months, and to welcome ongoing United Nations-led efforts to bring this war to a close. Both delegations agreed to maintain regular consultations and to follow up on matters discussed throughout the day. Nothing there about building a relationship between Israel and Saudi Arabia in the official White House readout. So I went to look at one more report coming from Axios. And they said this: Biden sent Jake Sullivan to Saudi Arabia for a possible push for a major Israeli deal. That's the headline. White House National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan arrived in Saudi Arabia yesterday for talks with Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. 2 U.S. sources are telling Axios, and the White House has confirmed this. Now, driving the news, Sullivan's trip is aimed at continuing the talks over a possible deal upgrading U.S.-Saudi relationships that would also include the normalization between Saudi Arabia and Israel. The U.S. officials have previously said that the administration wants to try to complete this diplomatic initiative before the presidential election. Campaign consumes President Biden's agenda, and then he won't be able to get things done, basically. But such a deal could be unpopular among the Democrats and might cost Joe Biden a lot of political capital. But a deal would also be historic breakthrough in the Middle East, leading to a domino effect of more Arab and Muslim majority countries normalizing relationship with Israel and putting the U.S.-Saudi relationships back on track. Now, the visit was this. Sullivan met with Mohammed bin Salman and other senior Saudi officials to discuss the bilateral and regional matters, including initiatives to advance a common vision for a more peaceful, secure, prosperous, and stable Middle East region interconnected with the world, according to the White House, they said in a readout. But Sullivan also reviewed significant progress to build on the benefits of this truce in Yemen that has endured over the past 16 months and to welcome the ongoing UN-led efforts to bring the war to close. Both delegations agreed to maintain regular consultations and follow up on matters discussing throughout the day. So in other words, Biden announced that he was sending Jake Sullivan there to go and build the relationship with Israel and Saudi Arabia to try and get them to sign on to the Abraham Accords. This is what Trump was able to do. So let's back up and look at the history. And here's how prophecy is unfolding. And I was putting this it's in my book, Revelation 9:11. In 1979, it was Jimmy Carter who was able to get Menachem Begin and Anwar Sadat of Egypt, and Menachem Begin, of course, of Israel, to come to the White House, and they signed the Abraham Accords, a peace deal between Israel and Egypt. And that peace deal has stood the test of time. In 1994, it was President Bill Clinton who was able to put together a peace deal between Jordan and Israel. And that was then added to the Abraham Accords. And that has stood the test of time. And then in 2020, it was President Donald Trump who had already moved the U.S. Embassy from Tel Aviv to Jerusalem. He had already declared that the Golan Heights was the sovereign property of Israel as a nation. He had already encouraged the building of more Jewish settlements in the West Bank, but somehow was still able to get the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, Morocco, and Sudan to all sign on as 4 new nations, adding to the Abraham Accords, which now makes it 6 nations. I mean, that was historic, beyond historic. And if anyone should have ever received, this is honest truth, if anyone should have ever gotten a Nobel Peace Prize for peace, it would have been Donald Trump on pulling that off. But crickets is all you hear. Now, Biden now wants to add on that, which is good. And what he would like to do is he would like to see if he could get the Saudi Arabians to join in on this Abraham Accords by signing an agreement that would build those normal relations with Israel, which would be very good if he could do that. But as we just heard, the meeting did not go in that direction at all, apparently. Nothing like that came out of there. The only thing that came out of there was, hey, there's been a truce between Yemen and Saudi Arabia for 16 months. That seems to be holding. So, hey, let's claim the credit for that. And Biden continues to say his ultimate goal is to bring a 2-state solution between Israel and Palestine, or the Palestinians, and to divide the land. So it doesn't look like Biden, but I think Biden's first step toward that was to try to build this relationship between Saudi Arabia and Israel to try to get Saudi Arabia to sign on to the Abraham Accords. that seems he's not seeming to do very good there. And so if he can't get that, how does he get the next level of getting Israel to part the land, which the Bible told us, don't ever part the land in the book of Joel. So anyway, I'm giving you the update on what's going on in this very important behind the scenes. And you see all this, you're seeing all the headlines about Hunter Biden, legal situations, and Donald Trump being charged with more and indicted on more charges. And you see all of that, all of this distractions going on when there's some very serious discussions going on behind the scenes, which certainly would play a part in Bible prophecy. Can you hear Jerusalem's cry? Can you hear Jerusalem's cry? Can you see the storm on the rise? Look around, you can't deny this is the hour of heaven's time. Armies gathering in the east for the war that's soon to come. Death will march with the beast, so seek the light and walk with the sun. Soon we'll see his wrath come down and the Lord descending from the sky. When you hear the trumpet sound, God has answered Jerusalem's cry. Soon the dead in Christ shall rise and join him in the sky. Even unbelievers will see God has answered Jerusalem's cry. God has answered Jerusalem's cry. Oh, that's right, folks. He will answer their cry. No doubt about that.
Poly mailers are a great way to package your product.
No. Guys, real quick, if you haven't seen the exclusive Patreon video, it's a 19-minute interview that I did with Mike from around the world. It is shattering. It is shocking. He talks about two subjects. The what's going to be the rolling blackouts in the American power grid system that's already happening. We're getting calls that people have lost power now in parts of Florida. Last night there was parts of Michigan that was shut down, and this is going to happen. The states that have been already set up, Mike tells you all about that in a map that he has and it's going to be a rolling all summer long, the rest of the month of August for sure. So you'll need to know about that. And the power grids will shut the power off for 24 to 48 hours. And you'll need to know if you're in that path. So go watch the video. It's at my Patreon channel. Also, the other subject Mike talks about is full disclosure, the UFO phenomenon. It's shocking information, and that's why it's there. So go to Patreon. Go to Patreon. Go to Patreon. I don't want to discuss any more about that here. It is very important at Patreon. And it's simply just go to patreon.com/Paul Begley. Okay, just real simple. Just go there. Now, if you haven't got your tickets, it's real easy to sign up to. If you're already a member of Patreon, just go there and watch it. If you're not a member or your subscription ran out, just renew, okay? Just renew your subscription. Or if you've never been a partner with me at Patreon, it's real easy. Just go there. Here it is. Thank you. Here it is. Just go right there. Go to www.patreon.com/Paul Begley. It's real easy. And sign up. And it's very easy to do. You give what you want. Most people give average around $5. Some give more than that every month, and some give less. You make that commitment. It's very easy, and you'll really enjoy the exclusive information we have there. If you haven't got your ticket for Aliens Above and Below, this is critical. We're now down to 6 more full days to go. Aliens Above and Below. I'm telling you right now, this will be the most, it is, because I've already interviewed everybody, but one more to go. It is absolutely the most incredible interviews on this subject. This is the greatest disclosure and information ever on this subject of aliens, UFOs or UAPs, and different out-of-this-world entities that are above and below. What are they, and what is their purpose, and how does it play out in the Bible? So get your ticket for this webinar. The webinar is next Friday, August the 4th. Okay, next Friday, August the 4th. The price is $55. Your donation of $55 or more. As you go there and get your ticket, Aliens Above and Below, just click it, get the ticket. And we've got a world-class lineup with Harvard professor Avi Loeb, Mike from around the world, Stan Deyo, Stephen Bassett, which is an incredible interview, L.A. Marzulli, who's always amazing, Laura Eisenhower, the great-granddaughter of President Dwight D. Eisenhower, Marshall Masters, Rex Bear, who really tears the occult apart, and myself, plus Bart Begley has a great documentary. This is this is insane information here, and the price has been, we went bare bones. We went as low as we could go, and then now we need a lot of people to get the tickets to help us out. So we need your help, and the information will be stunning. This will be the most talked about webinar of maybe your entire collection. Aliens Above and Below. Get your tickets today, and you'll be ready to go. Get your ticket, and then we'll send you your link on Friday, August the 4th at 6 p.m. Eastern. It will hit your email. You'll be ready to go, and I know there are going to be people who are going to binge watch every one of these all night. You'll start watching at 6 o'clock, and you might as well get ready because you're going to stay up all night. A lot of you will do that. Some of you don't. You'll watch 1 or 2 a night, and you'll take your time and spread it out. That way you've got something to watch instead of trying to figure out what you can find on Netflix or Amazon Prime. Forget that. This is the best. This will be the best webinar documentary on television. So you'll get more information out of this than anything else. And it might help somebody give their life to Jesus Christ. I highly recommend everyone watch. This is the Salvation Station. A lot of people got saved last night. Tremendous broadcast. And a bunch more have prayed through watching the archives. They're typing, "I want to be saved," right in the archives. It was an incredible, incredible night last night. So check all that information. I'll be back with more current world events and how they relate to biblical prophecy. We're truly, truly, truly living in the last days. Give your life to Jesus Christ. It's almost over.